So in our previous session, we have discussed about the TDL components and we have done an introduction to TDL. Then we understood on how to write a TDL, a basic TDL. We also went through a tryout on how to write a TDL, the definitions, the attributes, the 8 important elements of TDL. So starting with the first one that we are going to discuss is the special symbol. In TDL, each symbol that we have is used for a specific purpose. There are different symbols used in TDL. These symbols have different usage and behavior when used with different definitions and attributes. And remember the importance of the naming conventions that we had discussed in the TDL. This is the reason why we have the naming conventions, and we do not suggest to use any special symbol, because each special symbol that we have is having a specific meaning in TDL. So we have two categorization of these special symbols, the access specifiers and the general symbols. The access specifiers are the symbols that will help you to retrieve some kind of value, and general symbols are for the other utility purposes. Starting with the symbol at, it is used to identify a local formulae. It is any formulae written within that particular definition. It is a local formulae. Can be used specifically when there are values that a text that is very long and needs to be broken up and can be broken up into multiple local formulae, and that can be used for the output. So this is one try it out we have. So what we have done is
in fact they are getting or not, ये हमको उनको बताना है, so that we can do it for education. अभी जो normal
one simple TDL we have written a report. A report has a form. A form has a part has a line has a field has a set as. At set as we have written the local formulae and we have mentioned the formula details. Well, we can just break this up into multiple formulae. This formula is accessible only at the field definition. That also this local field definition. Then the global access formulae. So this can be accessed using the double end. Formula which is to be accessed across Tally, could be multiple reports or multiple definitions or attributes. Then the formula can be defined under the system definition, system formulae, formula name, and the formula output. Once a formula is a global formula, it can be used anywhere across Tally. Could be from a report, a data collection, or probably at a part or a line. At any place it can be accessed. So this is how we have done that. A report has a form has a part has a line has a field has an info, a global formulae, and this is where it is written. This formula can be accessed across this entire report or across multiple reports anywhere. So this is a try it out that you have to do. Create a report to display value in the field using global formula. Hope this is clear to everybody. Right. So the naming conventions for formula. This is case insensitive. So whether you write a capital G or you write a small g does not make a difference. It is space insensitive as a definition type, but space sensitive while referring the formula, which means when you define it under a system formula, space does not make any difference. However, when you are using it, when you are accessing the global formula, you cannot give a space. should not contain any special character. Hope by now you have already understood why we aren't allowing any special character. Cannot contain any keywords or attribute names like example blank, and cannot begin with a number. Then the special symbol hash. One purpose we have already seen, that is modifying the definition name. We said hash gateway of Tally, and then we have changed whatever we wanted. And the second utility is to refer to a field value. So this is how you can write field name such as the field value. So when I write hash my field, my name will also display hello world. So that's how it will make you the difference. So you can create a report writing this field reference value. Hash we have already seen. I do not think I have to discuss this again. Accessing value using double hash, and that is for the variable variable. We have the subsequent detailed chapter on variable. However, to access a variable value, a double hash is required. The symbol prefix is double hash together without a space is used to refer to the content of the variable, that is the data contained into the variable. A variable is made as global by declaring it in the system section. So there is a separate definition in itself for variable. So if you want to access this variable value, it has to be hash the variable name.
मुझे लगता है कॉन्फ्लिक्ट अवॉइड करने के लिए महीना आओ तो आपके लिए अच्छा रहेगा.
This is just a try it out that you can write. Simple, create a report form, part line, field, a variable, and at such as say hash the variable name. If the variable is having a value, there will be an output. If variable does not have a value, it will not have an output. $, is the symbol to use the retrieve method of a value of an object. We would be learning about the object set collections very soon. This refers to the internal database value retriever. So please remember the special symbol. We would be using this symbol very frequently as is when we want the value from the database. $, the symbol $, is prefixed for specifying that it's a function. So the value of an internal function in TDL can be accessed using $. The function can accept 0 or more parameters depending upon its utility, the task that is defined by the platform. Then we have the general symbols. We have for the comments, we have single semicolon, we have double semicolon, we have slash asterisk asterisk slash for multi-line commenting. Then we have the plus symbol. Again, it's a multi-purpose symbol. It is used either for the line concatenation, the line continuation, the line can break here for that. Then we have a special symbol underscore. It is a special symbol to expose methods to ODBC, that is the open database connectivity, the other databases, and creating procedures. So you can either give an underscore to the method name to make it exposed to the ODBC, or by prefixing it to the collection name, so it returns into a procedure which can be further used by the external application. Then we already spoke about the asterisk, the reinitializer symbol, which helps us to redefine the entire definition. The symbol prefix exclamation, This particular symbol is used to define an optional definition. Whether the definition specified is being executed based on a condition or not is what it will define. So as you can see here, option, colon, field definition name and the condition. So this field gets executed only if this is into a print mode. So that's all what we have for special symbols. And coming to dimensions, what is a dimension? Dimension. Well, dimensions are specifications that are used for displaying or printing your report, and they are specified at form, part, line and field. Report does not have a dimension because it is going to cover your screen 100%. So we'll just open a report. This entire area that you see, this dark green banner with this white area to this bottom here, this is a report. So you cannot give a dimension in the report, but the form, part, line and fields you can provide dimensions with different units of measurement. And the units of measurements that are allowed or can be used in TDL are millimeters or mm, centimeters or cms, inch or inches, number of characters or number of lines, percent screen or percent page, number of points. So this is how these are the unit of measures allowed in TDL. Now, based on what work the attribute does in the dimension, we have categorized them: sizing, spacing, alignment, specific attributes and formatting attributes. So let's look at the sizing attributes that we have. Sizing and spacing. This is one of the Tally screens we have made. Sizing attributes are the height, width, full height and full width. Field we can give width, line we can give height, and form level we can give whether it's a full height or a full width, or at the field level we can give width. Please note, a line cannot have width. A line will have a height, that's a vertical height, and the field will have the width. So the height of the field will be accepted from the line level, and the width of the line will be as used as the size of the width of the field. Here is one example that we have for the sizing. So the part, the height of is 75% of the screen and the form is 55% of the screen. So height 75, width 55. Part is 85% from the top with the width 45% and a line. And we have a field. The height of the line is 90% of the screen and the field width is 40%. The screen. So this is one code that you will have to try out. Then the spacing attributes, we can have a space top, space bottom, space left, space right, and indent, which allows the spacing in and around the object. So this is a try it out again you will have to do. So let me show you the code. Simple code. Height, width. Let's see, 100% height width. Space 10%. Space bottom 20%. Left 15. Right 15. Then the part height is 90%. Width 90. Height 90. Space top 5. Bottom 5. Left 15. Right 15. And that is how finally we come up with this as our output. What's the difference between a space left and an indent is what you will have to search. Would be on your hit and trial basis. Please try to find the difference between a space left and an indent. Right? This is what you will have to look for. A space left will also leave a few spaces from the left, and an indent will also leave few spaces from the left. You need to find out the difference between the space left and the indent. So this is how you will find the difference. So you will have two lines, each line one field, and one field you give space left 10 and one field you give space left, indent left, and try to find the difference between the space left and the indent. Right? So that's what you'll have to do. So this is your find out that you will have to do the difference between the space left and the indent. Then we have the alignment attributes that moves the entire attribute definitions to its positions. So by default, all the parts are from the top left corner. You can align them to be the bottom. You can align them to be the left part. You can align them to be the right part. You can align a top line, a bottom line, a left field, and a right field. Alignment attribute, whether to align the parts as vertical or horizontal. Vertical alignment of the form, which has to be top, bottom, center, or horizontally align it left, center, right. So by default, if you notice, the form starts from the vertical center and horizontal center. You can place it accordingly, and white space will be used at the field level, where you can see the text will be spaced up. So this is the top part. This is the right field in the top line, in the left part, in the bottom part. So you see that each line is having its description, what it does. We can bring this as you require. These are some examples. Field level white space. White space basically works as it works with your Microsoft Word. When the number of characters are less and the space given to that area is more, there would be the number of characters between each letter will change. Let us just take an example of this. Okay, so what we will do is, Okay, this is the right field in the top line. So this is the one we will search and we will try to change there. Yeah, this is the right field in the top line, in the left part, in the bottom part here. So we'll just try to make a change here. Here, white space. Yes. Refresh TDL F12, TDL F4. You see the difference here? We just make this 80%. Here. You see this difference? The spaces between the characters have increased. Now let me just remove this white space again. See the difference? The spaces that we had between each character have is now not there. So that's what white space does. So this is your try it out. It's just a sample. Yes, definitely you can make a much better report than this. Do it. Then we have two specific attributes, inactive and invisible. Inactive is the attribute that reserves the space for the content that is on the left hand side or the right hand side, whereas invisible does not reserve the space for that particular definition. So when there are outputs to be shown based on a condition, depending whether it's an inactive or an invisible, the space will be left. For example, company address, as you see in Tally. Here, alter 3 alter. You see on the left hand side, the space is maintained. This is the behavior of inactive. Where if it was invisible, the space wouldn't have been there. You see this? Both have same field, but here this is an inactive field and this is an invisible field. Let me just show this to you again. Here, specific attribute with 20, yes, with invisible, right? So we first right now we'll make this both the fields visible on our screen. See, right now we have all the fields under each other, right? So now to both these first fields, for this top field we'll make it inactive, yes, and for this field we'll make invisible, yes. So invisible and inactive. Field 2 hasn't changed. Yeah, I'll just to ensure that we are actually displaying field 2 and not field 1. See, the field 1 is inactive here, but the space for that field is still there. However, in this case, field 2, field 1 is not shown. Moreover, its space is also not reserved. So this is the difference between the inactive and invisible. So you can just try this out by yourself. Create a form line, report form part line field, 2 lines, each line having 2 fields. The first field make it inactive and the second and first line, and same way the second line first field make it invisible, and you will see the difference. Then we have the formatting attributes like the border, style, print FG, background, print BG, and color. Border, definitely we can give top, bottom, left, right. You can have a colored border for your display, and print FG for having the colored border in the printing. Then we have the style definition, for which we have font, height, bold and italic. Color, we have RGB, shade and color. So this is an example of it. Border of every field, for the field we have your border, style and color. Border, top, bottom, left, right, you can provide what this is defined. The type of border that you can, that is whether it's a thin or a thick, that is predefined. You will have to choose from there. So there's a huge list of choice that you can have. However, you cannot change the width of this border. It is predefined thin and thick. You will have to use the same one. Then for the style, you have font. Depending of whether you're using a Windows or not, you can provide a choice of your font. You can provide the font height, whether it has to be a bold or an italic. Currently we do not have an option for underline, hence it has to be set to, there is no such attribute called underline. And for color, you can provide the RGB, or you can make use of the cis color. Now, how do we know what all cis colors are available? You can just search for the cis colors, just Control Alt A. In the color definition type, look for cis color. Look at the default project. Cis color of tooltip text, inactive caption, selected text, workspace, button text, 3D shadow. So you see there's a huge list of cis color. Now what is the cis color? Cis color is nothing but the system colors from your own system. So Tally is just using the existing one. So if you change something there, is what will change here. So your RGB, I can provide a shade to your background. So this is a formatting text. Try it out that you will have to do. You see, we have done it. So there's nothing fantastic to it. Simple thing we have done. Background, we have made a light lily white. Part, we have made it as a deep gray. Then the line, it has a thick box. And for the field, we have given a border, colored border. It's a new color with the RGB specified as the font with a new style. The font has been provided bold, italic. The font color has been given newly. What kind of border it is? Double line, full length at the bottom. So you can see double line, full length at the bottom. Thin but bold. So thin but bold. And the right has to be a normal one. So right is normal. So you can provide as when you want. And that's all what we have for the dimensions too. If you have any questions, please do write to our support desk at support.tallydeveloper@tallysolutions.com. Thank you.